Hey my fellow Follicle Frontiersmen, it's DJ from Keratin Brotherhood. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'd like to tackle one of the most commonly asked questions I get in regards to hair fibers and minoxidil. And that question is, how do I fit hair fibers into my minoxidil schedule? For those of you who use liquid minoxidil, you know the pain point that I'm talking about. Liquid minoxidil takes like an hour to dry on your head, meaning your head, it just stays wet for an hour. That is a long time, especially in the morning when you're trying to get ready for work. You ain't got time for that. Like, you got to go. If you have to use hair fibers, it really puts a wrench into the whole hair routine. If you're one of those guys who uses liquid minoxidil and you have to use hair fibers, you're well aware of the problem that I'm talking about right now. What I'm going to show you today is that you can actually apply hair fibers directly on top of minoxidil, but there are a couple of caveats that you have to be aware about. You have to understand, guys, that not every hair fiber is created the same, especially if you're using cheap hair fibers or if you're using hair fibers that are made from keratin. And the reason why I say keratin hair fibers is because there's two different types of fibers that you can find. You can find keratin, which is they claim is the hair protein or the same protein as your hair. The other type is cotton fibers. Sometimes you'll see cotton, you'll see rayon, but essentially you'll have these two types of fibers. Anyways, the difference between the two is the dye that goes onto the keratin hair fibers does not penetrate into the keratin. What I mean to say is it sits on top of the keratin. And so when that gets wet, the dye will begin to separate from the keratin, okay? And then you end up with like the running color. You know, maybe if you've used hair fibers in sweat or you've got caught in the rain or even just drop your hair fibers in water, you've seen it looks like it's just paint. It's like spreading away. And that's because the dye is separating from the keratin. On the other hand, cotton hair fibers, rayon hair fibers, the actual color, the dye itself should penetrate into the cellular structure of the cellulose. And so if you're using those type of hair fibers, they do a better job of holding on to the dye. So if there's water that hits the cotton or the rayon fiber, it doesn't pull the dye away so easily because it's in the actual structure of the hair fiber. Keep that in mind. That's really important for what I'm gonna show you guys today. Just off the top, topic hair fibers are keratin hair fibers, guys, which means that this technique is not going to work well with topic hair fibers. This technique is also not going to work for Febron hair fibers. Febron is also made from keratin. So avoid those two, Febron and topic, if you're trying this technique that I'm going to show you guys today. The plant-based brands that come off the top of my head right now are going to be Kaboki, Go Fiber, Ceviche, and of course, Benny hair fibers, my own personal hair fibers. If you guys aren't familiar with Benny hair fibers, go ahead and click the link in the description. All right, so what I've already done is I've gone ahead and washed my hair. My hair is still damp, actually. It's still pretty damp. I got water all over my hands. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and apply the minoxidil now. The area that I'm working with for the minoxidil is going to be the back of my head. I should probably go ahead and conceal the transplant scar. So let's do that real quick. All right, so the scar is concealed. We can take a look. Obviously, it's not 100% not visible. I just did it really quick. But anyways, if you aren't familiar with how to do that, I'll go ahead and link the video card up here. All right, so I got my liquid minoxidil here. We're gonna go ahead and apply that. If you guys have never used minoxidil, minoxidil has a 1 milliliter line on the dropper. Okay, so we're gonna use 1 milliliter. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that to my crown. All right, so here we go. Off camera, I went ahead and applied hair fibers to the top of my head and also my hairline. So it looks obviously thicker now. But as you can see, it's not that hard to apply the hair fibers on top of liquid minoxidil. There are two things I want to point out to you before you go and jump into this. The first is because the minoxidil is wet, if you use the method that I use to apply hair fibers, which is the tap and pull. Guys, if you've been on my channel, you understand exactly what the tap and pull is. If you guys aren't, I'll go ahead and link the video card up here. But you saw me tapping the bottle onto my head. And when I do that, it comes in contact with the minoxidil. The problem is it's gonna clog up the holes. So the hair fibers are gonna start packing into the holes of the sieve on top of the hair fibers. And then what happens is you can't get the hair fibers to come out. And so you'll have to either unscrew or pop off the top of your hair fibers and rinse it underwater or bang it against a table or the sink to unplug those hair fibers. Okay, so understand that it is gonna clog up the sieve of the hair fibers if you use the method that I use. The second thing I want to point out to you, which I think is probably the most important thing I should point out to you, is when you're doing this and you're applying the hair fibers on top of the minoxidil, the hair fibers are going to sit in that liquid and they're basically going to release whatever they have in them. If that's dyes, they're going to release the dyes into your skin. If they have chemicals, it's going to release the chemicals into your skin. Whatever the hair fibers are made from, that's what's going into your skin. Be very careful with this, guys. I'm not saying that you're going to die, you're going to get sick. I'm not saying anything like that, but anything that you put on your skin, guys, will be absorbed by your skin. If that's minoxidil, that's how minoxidil works. It absorbs through the skin. If it's hair fibers, it's going to also absorb whatever is in those hair fibers. Every chemical that's in there is going to have access to enter your body either through the sebum, which is released from your sebaceous glands, or from your sweat, which is also released from the follicles. You're going to have some way for the chemicals to enter your body now that you're wetting the fibers. And nobody really knows what the long-term effects of these chemicals leaching into your body is. That's exactly why I had to create the handmade hair fibers, my Benny hair fibers that you saw me using in this video. They're 100% handmade, handcrafted. We use botanical ingredients. The dyes are made from plants, guys. No other hair fiber company on the market can make this claim, okay? Because I know where their suppliers are from. I know exactly where Febron and Go Fiber and Topic, I know exactly where they come from. And I can guarantee you they're not being fully transparent about the chemicals that they use in the processing of their hair fibers, okay guys? Don't believe the hype. Go and visit the Benny Hair Fibers website. The link is in the description below, www.benethos.com. I have a video linked on the page. It literally shows you the entire process of us making a batch of hair fibers. There's no fluff, there's no bullshit. It's 100% transparent. That's what this channel is about, guys. Transparency. I'm so excited about sharing these hair fibers with you guys because they solve every single pain point that I experienced over the last 6.5 years of using hair fibers, different hair fibers on the market, the chemicals that they're using in their dyeing processes, the preservatives, the artificial preservatives that they're using on the hair fibers. Guys, even just the keratin itself, the way that they source the keratin, the sources of keratin, guys, they are sourced from animal sources, okay? They're not using hair, they're using other stuff. And they're not being transparent about it. And once I found out about that, I could not accept that. So make sure you visit the Benethos website. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. My name is DJ from Keratin Brotherhood. I'll see you in the next video.